them real quick. Here on the side of Harrisburg, it's going to be Humble Korean playing the mid lane Outworld Devourer. Maverick, he's going to be handling a Kunkka. Furtive playing the Sven. We've got HMY. He's going to be handling the support Dazzlin finally. Already with the TP up to the offlane, it's going to be Gray Sky playing that Watermelon Man, the Tidehunter. Now on the side of Central High, it's going to be Merjubi playing the Timbersaw, putting him in the mid lane. A Centaur Warrunner, handled by Sheik. We've got a Lifestealer, that's going to be played by Panino. Warlock will be handled by Gizmo. And finally, Oracle is going to be played by Monochromatic, with a very interesting name. I'm a very firm believer in that we should not give precedence to certain positions in words for capital letters, and Monochromatic, he is putting them, it seems, every other letter. I personally like to see my capital letters kind of spaced out a little bit randomly. You put one capital letter here, another capital letter there. Make them very unpredictable. So maybe he'll change his style in the near future, but he is going every other at this point. As we get set for our bounty runes to start out this match. An early ward placed down by the Oracle over near the mid lane. It's going to give them a little bit of vision there. And oh man, look at that beautiful vision, that blue stuff there. It's going to be very easy and simple to see where exactly that word is going to show us. And it just gives you that little bit of a slice of the mid lane there. So it's going to allow them to see if any ganks are coming through. But I wouldn't really expect anyone to be coming on that side of the map either. So we'll see how effective it's going to be. It does give the Timbersaw vision of the rune, which can be effective early in the game. And Humble Korean already starts to work last hitting in the mid lane. We do have a tri-lane at bottom, and Sheik, well, he is going to be trying to stay alive as much as possible. It's down a deep ward here. Meanwhile, in the other off-lane, Tidehunter is going to be trying to get a couple of levels here. Should be pretty survivable with the Anchor Smash, but he always has to be careful of that rotation coming around. And he has a ward inside the jungle as well. So OD is going to be able to secure himself a couple of last hits with the Astro in prison. And Maverick HMI, they are hanging out inside the jungle right now, well scared out by Sheik, who is sitting on the high ground, scouted out. But he's keeping himself safe for now. Now Gray Sky, he's got the Kraken shell up, so it's going to be pretty difficult to take him down right now. And he's just going for the auto attacks onto Oracle for now. Not really doing too much there, but Tidehunter is in a position where he gets the Anchor Smashes onto the right heroes at the right times. He definitely can stay alive for quite a while and eventually turn that into a kill. It's something that Centaur are going to have to work with here. And you see that Anchor Smash going into work against Gizmo right here. Just gets a couple of hits in the back there. Once you take the Anchor Smash there, you really do not want to try to man fight against the Tide. And already you see the little bit of damage that Gizmo was able to do here. It's very little, but eventually that Shadow Word is going to be there. Okay, Open Wounds are going to slow him down. Gray Sky is going to try to teleport out. Is he going to be able to make it? It looks like he does. He teleports back to his tier 1. That was pretty smart, and he's actually going to have to use one of his healing styles as well just to stay alive because of that Shadow Word. But knowing that that shrine was there, he's going to be able to go back there and use that, get back to up to full health and mana. Maybe a very early commitment for him. I guess we'll have to look into that to see if that shrine ends up being needed to be used later. But he does keep himself safe for now, even though it does cost him quite a bit. It just shows how much you cannot underestimate the Shadow Word in the early parts of the game. Humble Korean hanging out here at mid. He is up to 14 last hits right now. Can be difficult sometimes to get last hits on the OD, but he's been doing pretty well here. Possibly a little bit of a wraparound as Mino has taken a huge amount of damage. Tidehunter not going to get blocked in the trees. He's got a couple of supports hitting him right now, and he doesn't go for any Anchor Smashes or anything. Doesn't try to turn it around. Just hanging out at level 2, looking for a third one so that he can do a little bit more damage, tank up a little bit more, depending on what his choice ends up being. He's going to catch out Gizmo here. They'll just chase around each other for a couple of seconds. He's going to keep hanging out here at the top lane. Maybe if Oracle were there a little bit earlier for that aggression onto the Tidehunter earlier, they could have gotten a kill. Unfortunately, wasn't really too close at all. Humble Korean taking the rolling death damage at mid. He seems to be completely alright though. And he is just working through those levels. Nearly level 5 right now. A very small advantage over the Timbersaw. fact, does get to level 5 right now. So he gets a couple more levels in the Astral Prison. Gray Sky wants to try to contest this pool over to the side, and he seems to be doing pretty well with it. Anchor Smash possibly a little bit early, and that purple ball is going to chase him down. Shadow Word does the damage to him, and he's going to be forced pretty far back for now. Wants to really eat through those tankers. Here comes the Astral Prison. His aggression is possible. They're not going to put the... Okay, the X marks beautifully done. They're going to have the X marks into the torrent. They'll slow down Merjubi. Merjubi looking for that Timber Chain out, and OD, it seems like he was wanting to hit that catapult down instead of killing Merjubi, who does get the healing salve, and Humble Korean is way too far in right now. He puts the Astral Prison out in the Timber Saw to keep him there for a little bit longer. He'll be able to salve himself up as well. Courier in a very dangerous spot as Humble Korean tries to keep himself alive. Monochromatic has the Fortune's End, but they'll just go over and decide to use the Shrine. So quite a little bit of aggression here to start as Humble Korean. He could find the wraparound on himself. Astral Prison's down. He keeps that lane pushing out, and even though the Oracle's here, they're not putting the aggression out onto Humble Korean, or do they? That support rotation does not result in too much at all. And we're just going to scout out these rotations to the other parts of the map. Gizmo coming around the backside and well scouted out by the Tidehunter. He's going to put in one of those slaps with the blade of his, and he's going to be able to take that clarity off of Gizmo, who's forced back here right now. Oracle sees a couple of heroes rotating in. Maverick is going to see him. Where's that X marks? Where is the damage? Poison Touch is going to keep him there for a little bit longer. Torrent, of course, it's good for Maverick. That's just what the Kunkka does. Chromatic kept there a couple of seconds. Now he's going to get healed up. Gray Sky needs to get in range, and that heal is going to be seemingly enough to keep him alive. Gray Sky cannot get in range for the Anchor Smash. Looks like that those boots that he has were not going to be enough. And now HMY, he's going to be taking a lot of damage on the backside of this one. He's going to use that Shallow Grave and try to TP away, and he is going to be able to make it. He gets it out with the TP before that Shallow Grave ends. Now Gray Sky is going to find himself in trouble. These guys are just keeping themselves going all over the map. Oh, nice open wounds, but the Torrent is going to put Pinito up in the sky, and eventually that's going to be it. Monochromatic finally gets that first blood. Eventually, the Tidehunter was going to be the one to go down. Meanwhile, mid, Merjubi takes some damage from OD, who is starting to dominate this lane. He is only at 14 last hits to the OD's 35, and all that aggression in the off lane, it might not be a terrible thing, honestly. If you're Harrisburg, you're creating space on the other parts of the map, making sure that the support heroes are not rotating. It does set your Tidehunter back a little bit. He really would like to get up to a fast level 6, but I'm sure that eventually he's going to be there, and I guess that having the farm on a Sven or on the OD, or both of them even, is definitely going to help out the cause of Harrisburg. Gray Sky seems to be completely healthy here in the top lane. Just back away a little bit. Pinino getting the Blightstone on himself, so he deals a little bit more damage to the Tidehunter. Very important for chunking through that early tank that the Tidehunter has. Humble Korean just hanging out mid still. Merjubi will eat that manga. It's just going to help him keep the lane at bay for a couple more seconds. Astral in prison, but there's no follow-up after this one. It's just a little bit of harass and some nice farm for the OD. And look how fast he just clears that out with the Astral in prison. That's why that skill is so needed for OD to be able to get some good farm early in the match. It just doesn't do enough damage with the auto attacks. Furtive, he's playing this lane a little bit cautiously against Sheik for now. Doesn't want to take too many double edges to the face, and it's not really a situation where Furtive can trade all that well. And Tidehunter still making his way up to level 6. He's at 5.5 right now, whereas the OD, he's been doing very well on levels. He's at level 8 for now. They are working on these guys. All right, Centaur using the charge to get away from a couple of heroes that were pursuing him, but it didn't even really look like a whole lot was being done to try and kill him there. Humble Korean looking for another Astral in prison on the mid lane. But these guys are just checking each other out. Which team is which? Well, I am seeing this about 2 minutes and 30 seconds later than you are actually chatting it. So I guess I'll just say it right now. Harrisburg is on the left side on the Radiant side, and Central Dynamo are on the right side for the Dire. So you will hear that answer 2 minutes 30 seconds after you asked it, but whatever. I'm sure it's super effective anyway. The wonders of delay. Got Humble Korean. Oh, this might be a go out onto the Oracle. There's going to be the Torrent, and OD is not going to take any damage from that Torrent at all with the Fate's Edict being put out there. Maverick getting into the lane, and OD looks like he wants to get aggressive out on this one. Merjubi could go forward, needs to be looking for some trees though. Monochromatic has taken so much damage from the OD. Here comes the damage from Merjubi though, and that's going to force the OD back. Timberchain to get away from that one as well. Just a couple of... oh no, where are my frames going? There's just a couple... sorry about that. There are just a couple of things going on there with Humble Korean. Alright, he's got the invis going out to the top lane. And Panino could find himself in trouble. Ravage is available. OD is still unseen for now. He's only at level 8. The damage won't be too great at all. And, well, Gray Sky's going to try to bait it out. Let's see how hard Panino decides to go here. It's going to be the Anchor Smash and a Ravage eventually. Okay, he's going to pop it right there. Humble Korean getting in with a little bit of damage. Rage is going to take him away, but that SR Imprison should come through pretty soon. It's just a matter of how far underneath the tower they're willing to go, and Gray Sky looks like he's willing to go all the way with this one. TP start to come through for Central, and here comes that turnaround from Pinino. Anchor Smash not going to do anything at all. He needs to come off cooldown in 3 seconds, and that damage might be a little bit too much. Rage, yeah, there it is. That's going to be the Purifying Flames taking down the Tidehunter there. Humble Korean tries to get out of that fight as well. Here comes that charge. It's going to... they need to slow him down. They're not actually running over Humble Korean at all. And the TPs will go over to the Shrine, but the Chakram, it's a lot of damage, and I don't think that Humble Korean can get out of it. There was a lot of damage done there, but eventually that OD is going to die. Torrent, where's that? Bad touch. Panino taken down a little bit. Does have the rage to get away as well, but he should be completely fine, even, well, especially with the Oracle being able to heal him up. So we'll get back up to the lane. He'll get that feast going, and he's going to be completely fine, able to keep his farm going here. Taking a look at our net worth, he is at the top of that one for now with the... well, the Sven is pretty much neck and neck with him. So it's very important that Harrisburg get their Sven farm, because that's going to be their main source of damage versus the Lifestealer. It's interesting to note that Harrisburg decided to pick the OD into a Lifestealer. So I guess they weren't too worried about the fact that he was going to be magic immune for a lot of these fights, while the OD is trying to put out some damage. And he's going to go forward here, 1 level into the Arcane Orb. I've seen some players take that one a little bit earlier, but he just wants to get the levels into the aura that he has, as well as the Astral Imprison. Meanwhile, at bottom, Furtive, he's taken down the Centaur Warrunner, able to do the damage there that he needs to take out that tanky Centaur. This leaves Gray Sky alone at top with not a whole lot of TPs available. He's just pretty much on his own here with the Ravage coming off cooldown in 27 seconds. He doesn't really seem to be going for too many last hits. Oh, meanwhile, at bottom, we've got the damage out on the Gizmo, and he's just a poor little Warlock. He can't do anything to survive there. He's definitely not as tanky as a Centaur or Timbersaw. We do have a couple TPs coming in through here. Centaur and Oracle getting in the fight. They're looking for Furtive, who his best bet is to try to turn this around and fight, but that's really not the best bet that he can try to make it all. He'll try to TP away with that Shallow Grave, and the damage is not going to be there. He makes it back in the base, and now OD is just left here without a prayer at all. He's trying to get to the high ground. The Shrine has not been popped at all. They'll try to go for the high ground. That Timber Chain completely off the mark, as Monochromatic is in so much trouble. He used the False Promise rather on himself to try to stay alive. He'll even pick up a Bounty Rune, which is probably the Bounty Rune, the bounty. It's at least some kind of consolation for himself, while he just ends up dying. And the Gush comes through from Gray Sky as well. Centaur is just trying to run away from this one. Ravage popped out. It's going to hit on the 3 as well. Can they actually kill down Shake, though? One prison. Who are they going to focus on here, Gizmo? That's completely the wrong place, and he can't even get off his ultimate. Here comes Gray Sky. He's got a Gush in 5 seconds. He's actually diving at tier 2 for this one, but he's going to think better of it. Say, guys, it's still a tier 1. We should probably go kill that one. And that was quite an interesting fight, with Harrisburg turning it around for the most part. No idea how many heroes ended up dying off all of that action, but I think at the end it was still Harrisburg taking the advantage. And now we also have a Midas and Treads on the OD, so he's got quite a bit of attack speed here. Here comes the Timbersaw and a lot of other TPs into that lane. They know that the Ravage is down for 100 more seconds. Here comes that boat in from the Kunkka. It's not going to hit on anything. It's just a zoning boat as they keep trying to go for the tower. Furtive, his build right now is just an Echo Saber. Generally, we see a lot of Svens go for the Helm of the Dominator very quickly, but he doesn't really seem to want that. Just wants to put out the raw damage output. And Dynamo, they are being forced to defend this one. But Harrisburg, they're already thinking elsewhere on the map. Humble Korean pushing in the mid lane. Not any levels into the Saints Eclipse yet either. Hasn't gotten anything to the Talons as well. A bit interesting of a build from him. But he'll keep on going on mid. And there is a very slow rotation from Central, but it's definitely going to get there in time. It's just, are they going to be able to find an OD with it? Now we've got Gizmo. He is in completely the wrong place once again, and he's just got to give himself up. I'm not really sure what he thinks he can be doing there, but there's a chaotic offering. False Promise is going to keep him alive. They really cannot man fight against the Golem right now. Maverick is going to get slowed down by the Fortune's End. Shake is going to be brought back into it as well. Humble Korean possibly in a lot of trouble. Astral Prison out onto the Centaur as Timbersaw wants to chase this one down, but he's been left on the high ground, and Humble Korean keeps trying to get out of this one. Trying's going to be popped. Look at the huge damage from Double Edges. HMY is going to get himself out. Boat hits onto the Oracle and onto a couple of heroes, and Furtive is doing the damage here. Needs to get a little bit more onto the Lifestealer, and that Fate's Edict is not going to keep him alive at all. Now Merjubi has to do some damage. He's going to get the Timber Chain through, able to find the kill. Furtive gets a double, but he's going to get shut down right there. Maverick getting into the mid lane, looking for the Solace of the Trees. Can Central find anyone else here? Looks like the answer is no. They don't have the vision, and they definitely don't have the ability to keep going. Oracle, TP to top. It's a very low Tide Hunter. The Purifying Flames come through. Just needs a little bit more mana, though. And, well, he was going to get it, except he used those skills in the wrong order. You want to use the Purifying Flames, then the Fortune's End. And Monochromatic, if he had done that, might have been able to find that long-range kill onto the Tide Hunter, but it's just going to lose out on that opportunity right there. But he does at least scare off the Tide Hunter, but the tower still dies. Right. I have to keep remembering that that is not a scoreboard for me. I don't even have a scoreboard on here. I have to hit the P button. I don't know why I want to hit the P button anyway. We can take a look. Gosh, I hope yep. We have XP right there. We also have net worth right there. You can see that it's a little bit on the side of Harrisburg. Just a little bit. They're going to smoke up here, looking for a little bit more aggression. And Maverick makes his way towards the Roshan pit. He does know that there are heroes here. When is that smoke going to break? He's making a beeline for, I don't know, somebody here. They see the Timbersaw, and they're going to get the X, looking for the Torrent. Merjubi's going to be kept there, and the damage is going to be pretty big. Put up in the air with that Torrent. He tries to get away over to the side, but the damage is coming in hard and fast from Harrisburg, and they really want that Merjubi. He's going to get the Centaur charge, and, well, Harrisburg, they might have committed a little bit too hard onto that one. They didn't really give themselves any room for not having a stun onto a Timbersaw, and they can't actually get him there. He'll make his way. Oh no, that was a bad Timber Chain, and maybe he's going to get punished for it. The OD's here with the Astral Prison, puts him into it, and I think that might actually be it for him. Anchor Smash comes through. That's going to secure the kill. And Harrisburg, they made a trip from the mid lane over to top, and they may decide to push in a tier 2 right now. Very long chase of the Timbersaw for that one. Meanwhile, Sven is just having a lot of fun on the bottom lane. He's taking down the tower, and he wants to join this push top as well. They're looking for the X marks and the Torrent onto just an illusion. It's okay, guys. You don't need to be so afraid of that one. They are ready to keep on pushing. They're using their abilities onto the illusions pretty well here. Grey Sky still has the Ravager. Luckily, he's not ravaging an illusion, as she does get scoured out here. Grey Sky picks up the gold from that illusion, and we'll see if they want to decide. Well, we'll see if they want to keep pushing in that top lane. Merjubi is here to slow things down with the Chakram. Does Grey Sky want to go on to this one? Taking a Timbersaw down at this stage of the game is definitely going to be a huge thing for Harrisburg, but they're lying in wait here. It's a trap. Oracle walks into it. There's a Chaotic Offering. It hits on the 2, but the Torrent is on the 2 as well. Ravaged by the Tide Hunter. Grey Sky. He's got so many out with that one, and the boat, well, it's not even needed there as Grey Sky keeps chasing down Merjubi. They take care of the Golem, looking for a little bit more. Merjubi, he's going to get X back into the Torrent. That Centaur ultimate is going to do nothing. Merjubi at least gets away from Furtive for now. As on the backside, Sheik is doing a little bit of damage from Dynamo, and they get hit with the Stormhammer. Can Furtive man fight this one out? Rage gets used, but it's not going to matter at all. Even that Shallow Grave, not even needed, as Sven just goes man mode, and Merjubi in some trouble as well. They need a hit. They get it from Grey Sky. That's so many heroes that are dying on the side of Central, and it looked like Harrisburg are going to be able to mount even more pressure on this tier 2 tower. I like the idea of Central to come in on the backside of that last fight with the big damage of Centaur and Lifestealer, but in the end, it really just was not working at all for them. By the time they got into the fight, they wanted to create chaos, but there was only so much they could do as Gray Sky. He walks right in. He's not scared of this at all. One double edge is going to stop him, but that double edge is not going to get the opportunity to go off. Gray Sky gets his way away from that scary Centaur. They don't kill a tier 2, but they are still putting so much pressure on the map. And maybe the OD is going to try to man fight against Panino here. Has to be careful. If someone uses a rage, he could easily just ask for imprison himself, but that could give rise to a couple of teleports coming through into the mid lane. OD currently making his way towards a Hurricane Pike. And let's see if I can pick up on some of these talents. So we're going to have the 20% XP for the Timbersaw. Considering how the early game went, that makes a little bit of sense for him. We've got +5 all stats for the Lifestealer, makes him more tanky, as well as gives him a little bit more damage. Nothing just yet for the Warlock. Oracle not at level 10 either. Centaur hasn't decided to go for anything, but he does have the Blink Dagger. In the mid lane, we've got Dazzle. He's not got level 10 just yet. Kunkka does, and he's going to get some more torrent damage with it, which really makes sense for this kind of build. Tidehunter has 150 health. It's not really all that big. Honestly, I might rather go for the damage on Tidehunter. I don't think he necessarily needs the 150 tanky damage per se. Or he has his mechanism as well. But go in, there's a blink onto a Tidehunter though, and it's not really who you want to try to initiate on. Another Ravager is going to be up in 3 seconds. They'll use the charge to be able to get away as Merjubi wants to put in some damage on the Gray Sky, who has to be very careful of that one. Timber Chain is going to come through, but even then, Gray Sky is staying alive so much here. Could get healed up by the Dazzle as well. We'll go right back in. Maybe even looking for a Ravage. Has to be careful though. The stun does come out, and there's the Ravage out on the 4. They're doing so much here. Anchor Smash is there as well. Chaotic Offering is going to slow things down, but Gray Sky is just running right over them. Furtive wants to go ham as well. He's trying to chase down an Oracle, but they've got to take care of that Golem, who very easily dies in 3 hits from the Sven. They need this tower right now as well. One's going to go down. Doesn't hit onto much for Maverick, but they still keep on going for the tower. Meanwhile, OD is not even being involved in that fight at all. He's still at bottom, and he is taking that tower down very easily. Sven at the top of the net worth. He's got a blink. He's got the Echo Saber, and he's looking pretty damn good right now. And nobody decides to do anything about the OD, who is currently... He has enough gold for his Hurricane Pike, so he just could buy that up and immediately get it from the courier. Lifestealer, he's at level 13. He's just hanging out there. Armlet and the Blightstone for himself. Taking a look at the talents for Sven, he's got +8 all stats and strength as well. So that is your talent tree rundown here. Need to get a little bit better at doing that as the games move on, but that's still something that as a caster I'm getting a lot more used to. As Panino could find himself caught out. Here it comes, the blink, the Stormhammer, and there is way too much damage for Panino to get away from. The Centaur charge, the False Promise, all being used to get him away, but he's going to get pulled right back in. The Oracle is not going to be able to stay alive all that much, and he's going to die there as well. Now Gizmo trying to get away is going to get hit with the Gush. Slowed down X-Pac. This is a terrible place for a Warlock, and that's 3 dead. Harrisburg rolling right over our Central High crew, and they're looking mighty fine to try to take this match away from them. Furtive pushing this lane in. Merjubi stepping up. There's a blink forward and the Stormhammer as well. There's absolutely no way that Timbersaw can try to survive at all. He's getting styled on this entire match, and one thing that's bad about that XP gain is going to increase those respawn timers. So Harrisburg may even decide to go for the high ground at this point. He's going to blink forward. Furtive just looking for that ability to go ham here. It's a button that he presses. Just go ham is the button. But here they are looking for that tier 3 tower. Furtive going in. He's not going to be red any longer, and they're actually going to think twice about going in here. Humble Korean, he looks pretty confident. He wants to get that sustained Arcane Orb. Intelligence Steel going there too. Sheik ready to jump in, has a blink stomp. Can they turn something around here? No chaotic offering for another 12 seconds. That's possibly what they're waiting for here, but it's time to go pretty soon as they're about to lose their racks. And in fact, they are going to lose it. Dazzle's the one to last hit it. A little bit interesting that they decide to give it to him. Stomp hits out on the 2. Where's that counter initiate? There's a chaotic offering, but the Ravage should be soon. It's going to hit out on the 4 with the Panino Gleistewer being in the middle of that rage. The bow comes through, and it's just ramming right over Central High. Dynamo cannot stay alive at all. That's 1 Rax down. 3 heroes dead as well. They want more. Monochromatic using the false promise on himself. He needs to keep himself alive, but Humble Korean is going to just keep on chasing him down, and that should be more than enough damage to kill him after that false promise. Indeed it is. They want to keep on going here. There is not too much that is going to stop Harrisburg High, and they feel it as well. GG's called by Central. That's going to be game number 1 going the way of Harrisburg. Yeah, so there wasn't a whole lot of answers that Central could find there. It was definitely a great performance from start to finish, and I think it all came from the Sven and OD receiving all of the room in the world. OD played the lane very well, and eventually the Sven got to a point where he really didn't have to worry about the damage that the Centaur was going to do. His supports were able to rotate, and that allowed them to just create pressure, forcing the supports to stay in the top lane. So with that being said, perhaps Central can find some kind of other strategy to come back in game number 2, because this is a 2-game set, and they really do not want to drop down both of them. We'll be right back after a couple of moments, guys. Stay tuned, and as always, cheers.